Hello and welcome to this section of the TI-89 Calculator Tutor. Here we're going to begin to dive into the capabilities that we have with the calculator in doing statistical analysis. And basically statistical stuff is just a fancy word that means that you have a lot of data, raw numbers in other words, and we're going to use the calculator to manipulate and play with that data. We might graph the data. So we'll use the graphing capabilities to look at the data. We might do analysis on it to find out what the mean value of that data is, what the standard deviation is, or a number of other things that we can do as well, regression analysis. So what we're going to do in this section is first learn how to input the data into the calculator, and in the next section we'll actually learn how to play around and do things with it. Alright, so everything in this section is going to be dealing with raw data, raw numbers of some kind. There are a million examples why you might need to do this kind of thing. Certainly your test problems will tell you, what it is you're trying to do. But just as a practical example for the purposes of teaching you what we're doing here, I like to think of grades in a classroom. Student grades, in other words. Maybe there's 20 kids or 30 kids in a classroom and we all get a different grade. Some of us are going to get in the 90s, some of us are going to get in the 80s, some of us are going to get in the 70s, and some are going to be lower. And so that's statistical data. We might want to list that data and plot that data and find out how much of us are lying in the A and the B and the C range, and what the spread is, what the standard deviation is on the students, how far apart are the students from one another, and what the mean value of those grades are. So it's something we can all easily wrap our brains around. So that's what we're going to center this section around. All right, now remember when we entered a matrix earlier, we went into the matrix editor. But if you remember, there was actually something else in there that let us enter data, and that's what we're going to be doing now. So to enter statistical data list, you go to the apps menu. So let's go to the apps menu right here. Now on this calculator, the way I have it set up on the screen, I see a data/matrix editor here. But depending on the flavor of the TI-89 you have, you may not actually see this screen. When you hit apps, you might see a menu pop up. But anyway, when you look at it, there should be an entry somewhere on the screen when you press apps that says data/matrix. So go ahead and hit enter. And notice we've already used the matrix entry capabilities already. So now we're entering data into the calculator, and that's why, it's all lumped together. So we have a couple of options. Normally you're either going to be creating a new data set, which is just a new listing that you'll name, and that's what we're going to do here. But in a few minutes we'll be able to, once we have something stored, you can of course open it and edit it and modify it later. So let's go ahead and create a new guy now. And again, your menu might look slightly different, but there'll be a place